let's get going. The first question I want to ask you is this. Is art dead? No. Great. Does art matter? So let me tell you this story. So last year, there was an artist by the name of Jason Allen, and he created this digital image using a artificial intelligence software called Midjourney, and he entered it into the Colorado State Art Fair, specifically for the digital art category. And lo and behold, he wins the grand prize of this competition. And as you can imagine, all of the other artists who entered the competition were extremely pissed and very, very upset. They accused him of cheating, even though he hadn't, because he had said, I had used a software to help me design this specific piece of art. And it created a whole momentum of thinking about, well, what does it mean for us to be creative? What does it mean for us to design new art when so much of it can now be done using generative AI, which is this technology that has really exploded over the last year? And so let me just say a few words about generative AI. It is really a technology that has been used to create new forms of content, new forms of text, new forms of images, even new forms of sound. And it does this essentially by scraping the open web for billions of data points for text and for images and for sound, and then identifying patterns between these data points to then be able to predict a model of what it thinks you want to hear. So this has come very fast at us. You are all probably very familiar with this interface, which is ChatGPT. And so let me just say a little bit about how it works. So GPT basically uses a specific kind of a algorithm that is really good at identifying relationships between words and phrases. So that's essentially what it is. If you've ever typed into Google and you get like autocomplete, it finishes a sentence for you. It's the same kind of natural language processing technology, but really grown exponentially on so many different levels. So this is an output that you see on the screen of a GPT query. Let me show you what it looks like actually on the background and what GPT is doing. So it takes this very large paragraph of the sentence and it actually breaks it down into very specific words or small phrases. And these are called tokens. And these tokens have a mathematical value that has been assigned to it. And what the algorithm is doing is essentially trying to understand how these words are connected to each other using a mathematical model with billions of data points, and then be able to create what it thinks you want to hear. So it's designing something that is maybe the most probabilistic answer, if not necessarily the most creative answer. So this has radically shifted how we think about work. And over the last 9 months, I've been researching how generative AI has been applied in the workspace. And I want to give you a few examples of it. I think generative AI can be used to help us come up with new content. So new text, new images, new songs. What you see here on the screen, the words in black are things that a large language model can do very well. It can write code, it can create new content. But the words in red are things that it still needs humans to do. So we have to give it context. We have to frame the question. We have to develop a scenario of what is it that we're asking about. It's not going to do this all by itself. The second category of things that generative AI can help us do is to ideate and come up with new solutions to problems. So again, in the words in black, it can help us assess some of our assumptions. It can help us come up with new counter-arguments to a solution. Great for problem solving, but it still needs humans for us to prioritize and give a judgment of what works and what doesn't work. And the third category is this idea of analysis. So take all of these lists and categorize them, or take all of these cat pictures from the internet and tell me which one is the cutest, etc. But you can see we still need to be very much involved in the process of using generative AI in a successful way. So the question I asked you at the beginning was, is art dead? This is the answer. This is new art. This is new levels of creativity that we as humans can now tap into to be able to solve not only business problems, but also creative artwork problems.